Do you ever feel like something's missing? Like it's nothing over the top. It's just like you're at the age in life where you have lived enough life to know that there's still some life in front of you, and you want to make sure that the what is in front of you is fulfilled, is joyful. Maybe you have put taking care of yourself off to the side. Maybe you have been so concentrated on raising a family, and now you're in the season of life where you're like, hey, like what's going on? Well, that is why I believe every woman over 40 or even approaching 40 should have a passion project. And today we're going to talk about not only what is a passion project, but how do you identify what your passion project is? How do you find the time to add a passion project to your life? How do you create a passion project that resonates and fulfills here and makes you happy and fulfilled without not being obligated to the things that you currently do have? So grab a notebook, grab something to write with. We're going to be asking ourselves some questions, and I'm going to walk you step by step on how I landed at my passion project and why I think you should do the same. So, what is even a passion project? So, a passion project is simply something that you spend your free time doing that makes you happy and fulfilled above and beyond the obligations you currently have with career and family. So it is something that is specific to you, and it is something that is specific to your interests and your happiness. So it's not something that is part of your job. It's not something that's part of your kids. It is something very specific to you. A passion project can be intense. I want to go back to school and get my doctorate. I want to write a book. I want to start a business. A passion project can be like, I want to bake the best freaking chocolate chip cookie that anyone has ever had, and I want to perfect a recipe. A passion project can be, I want to run a marathon. A passion project can be, I want to learn photography. A passion project is exactly whatever it is that you have always wanted to do. So, question number one when we're talking about a passion project is, how do we identify a passion project? So I'm going to ask you a question. So write this one down or think about it as you're watching the video. If I had an unlimited amount of money, or money was not an issue, and I could do what I wanted to do with my time, and I didn't care what anybody else thought, what would I do with my free time? Or what would I do with my time? So if money wasn't an object and you had absolutely not a care about what other people thought about what you were doing, what would you do with your free time? So I actually used this question in an icebreaker in a room full of administrators. It was probably a couple of hundred. And let me tell you what I observed in just asking that question. First and foremost, the most amazing part was when people were talking about what their passion was, like they lit up. They were ecstatic. I remember there was one of my coworkers was talking about working with his hands and working with wood and how he could do that all day. And I just the way his face lit up, like that's what a passion project is. So when I shared with the group what I would do, I was like, you know what? If I didn't care what anybody thought, because money really didn't have to do with it, I would have a YouTube channel. And I was like, I put it out there, and you know what happened? Nothing, because no one cared, because they were like, oh, you should do that. And that's why I asked the second question. If you didn't care what other people thought, what would you do? Because even with money, resources, there are people who still don't pursue their passions because they're so worried about what other people think. So you've answered the question. So whatever it is that resonated and bubbled to the top, that's your passion project. And it is possible to have multiple passions, but for the sake of what we're talking about, you're going to pick one project. And that could, over time, spill over into other things. You may be passionate about jewelry making and entrepreneurship and want to start a jewelry business. Those things can morph, but don't overthink it. Make it simple. Don't make it complex. There is no right or wrong answer. It is simply what resonated when the question was asked. So this is the third question that I'm going to ask you in order to identify your passion project. Have you ever pursued your passion project? And if so, why did you stop? And if not, why haven't you started? So that allows you to process and be thinking okay, have I ever pursued? In the case of YouTube, well, yes, I did pursue a YouTube. I had a YouTube in 2008, and I loved doing it, and I stopped doing it because I got a promotion. I was a little bit more visible, and at the time, it was the correct decision for me in my career to not pursue doing hair and beauty on YouTube when I had a whole career in front of me. And so I didn't. I don't regret the decision. It was right at the time, but I can look back and say, okay, it's something I've pursued. So for you, you need to be thinking about, why have you lived this much life and never pursued your passion project? It could be because you felt obligated to take care of your family. Maybe you have obligations that are financial. Maybe you just haven't had the time management to do so. Well, we're not going to make continued excuses, because in just a little bit, I'm going to talk about how you find the time for your passion project. But if you haven't, really truly do some soul searching, sis, and figure out like why you haven't started. Or if you did, like, hey, now you may be in a season of life where you can pick it back up. Okay, so with your passion project, the next thing is, do I have time to do it? Because one thing about a passion project is one of those things that if you look up at the clock, you won't even realize how much time you're spending doing it, because it's something that you love to do. It's something that you can sit there and do for hours. And so one of the things that people always, oh, I don't have time to do that, or how do you have time to do YouTube, or how do you have time to do this, whatever it is that your interests are. Well, I would say, number one, this little thing right here is probably your biggest obstacle to being able to pursue a passion project. Just go into your phone and look at your settings and see how much time you're spending on social media. I promise you that pretty much any passion project can be fulfilled, or at least pursued, in less than an hour a week. So just think about whatever you thought about and thought, like, every week if I spent an hour, maybe 2 hours doing my passion project. It doesn't have to be 2 hours at a time. It could be 30 minutes on a Monday, an hour on a Sunday, maybe 30 minutes on a Tuesday. Like, you can find the time for the things you're passionate about, because you have lived your whole life finding time to do things that other people are passionate about. I assure you that you do. And the reason that a passion project is so critical is when we talk about work-life balance, this is one's going to trip you out. A passion project is perfect for work-life balance, because if you don't have something in your life outside of work and even raising your family or being responsible to other people and other obligations, then you don't have balance. It's all over here. So a passion project allows you to have that, oh, like, work is like working, or today is Friday, but I know I get to go home and I get to spend time doing my passion project. And the thing about a passion project that I want to be clear about from the start is, a passion project is not a project that you do and then you feel guilty about it when you're not doing it. So that's why it's really careful when you select a passion project. Like, if it's something that you're going to be pursuing, it's going to stress you out, or then you're going to feel like, oh, I didn't have time to do it. That's not what a passion project is all about. So don't get that part confused, because then you're just going to be more stressed. But having, like, being able to, like, today is literally Friday. Like, I came home, I got off work, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go film my video. Like, it was something to look forward to. And that is what a passion project does for you. A passion project also gives you a sense of purpose. As you get older and enter this stage of life, more than likely, depending on where you are, the dynamics of life have shifted or changed. How I'm living my life right now in my late 40s looks nothing like how I was living my life in my late 20s. My children are older. My husband is downstairs doing his own thing. Like, my dynamic is different. And so when you get older, and especially those of you that maybe have raised children and your children leave and you become an empty nester, sometimes you can look around and wonder, like, okay, now what am I going to do with me? Like, where does me time? When it comes to even this age, especially if you've put off taking care of your health, like, there's a lot of things and a lot of wonderings that happen as you get in your 40s. And if you're not quite there yet, I promise you, when you get your 40s, it is a beautiful time, because you're a lot more confident and secure in who you are. But there is a lot of time to reflect and think about, okay, I have given myself to so many people or so many things. Now it is my time to do what I want to do with my time. At least that's how I feel. A passion project is also stress relief. Like, I love to bake. It is like part of some of the things I do. My YouTube is my passion project, but I love baking. And when I bake, I'm never stressed out. I'm never like, oh my God, these cookies didn't turn out the way I want, or this pie didn't turn out the way I want. It's like, look, I'm baking. If y'all want to eat this, y'all gonna eat this. Like, it is fun. You know, it is something that I'm fairly good at. So a passion project should be something that reduces stress. A passion project could be yoga. A passion project could be learning how to make soaps or candles. A passion project can be learning how to program something. Like, it should be something that is like, makes your face light up. It should be something that you're like, I really truly enjoy doing this. A passion project you do not have to be good at. That is the other thing. Like, a passion project is not something that you have to excel at. So pick something, like I said, that resonates with you and gives you that sense of belonging, that sense of happiness, that sense of fulfillment and joy that's carved out into your day for you. You don't have to have anybody to do your passion project with. Like, my husband is downstairs. He doesn't care what I'm doing up here in this little she shed office. The only person or even remote concern is Mr. Bacon, the Chihuahua. No one else cares about what I'm doing with my passion project. So with a passion project, know that it is not something that you have to have other people to do. In fact, I would almost recommend you don't. Like, you can bring people into the fold once you're established and you figure out what your passion project is. But if you depend on other people to do your passion project, sometimes people will let you down. So if you want to take salsa lessons, if you want to learn how to swim, like, it's great if you have someone that can be there and do those things with you, if that's what you need. But make sure you commit that whatever the passion project is you pursue, that you don't need anybody there with you in order to complete it. A passion project also shouldn't be something that's going to break the bank. Like, I will say, over time, especially when you're truly committed to your passion project, I'm all down for investing in whatever it is that you need. Like, if you decide you want to build a computer, or you decide you want to take up photography, if one day far away after you start your passion project you spend $2,500 on a camera, right on. But before you jump into the deep end of the pool financially with whatever it is that you pursue, especially if you've never pursued it before, take some fiscally responsible steps a little bit at a time. So I, once again, talk about YouTube. One of the things is I have like a decent camera over there. I don't even ever use it. I use either this Pocket 3 or I use my cell phone primarily most of the time. I don't even really need that camera. That was an example of, oh, I have to have this, I have to have that. And sometimes the Virgo in me wants everything to be perfect. So what I would say is just kind of dip your toe into the shallow end of the pool before you go and get all the bells and the whistles and the gadgets, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you can look around your house and there's probably something you started that you spent money on that you're not even pursuing anymore. So be careful about that. Tell people about your passion project. Like, if you really, really want to do a passion project, let me tell you how you get started. Tell somebody you're going to do it. Tell a lot of people you're going to do it. Go on social media and say you're going to do it. Tell a room full of people, like I did, I was going to do it. It like cornered me because I was like, oh, I said I was going to do it. My fear was what people thought. No one cared. I had absolutely no reason at that point not to be able to do it and pursue it. And so announce it, like, let people know. That's only like if you just need to like be pushed like off the edge. So I am curious, like, in the comments down below, what is your passion? Like, what would you pursue if time and money and all of that was not an object and you just had the free time to do it? I hope this helps. I hope if you are over 40 years old and you don't have a passion project, this video encouraged you to have one. I hope you'll take some of these questions and think about it, because this is the best time of life, the season that you're in right now. And you are at a place where more than likely you are established. You are a lot more sure of yourself, and now's the perfect time to pursue a passion. So as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.